getting home from church this morning, I had to go attend to some business, and before I left, I told the wife, I'm getting hungry, and try to see what you can cook up or put together for when I get back. So I'm on my way back now. I already finished what I had to finish. I'm on my way back, and I let her know I'm on the way. And she texts me kind of freaking out. She's like, uh-oh. So I don't know if she put anything together at all, but the expectation was there. So I just want to see, and this happens often, where she's kind of put on the spot or in pressure. It's Sunday. I don't like to have her like cook all throughout the week. Sometimes she does need a break. But it's one of those things that in marriage, especially when you're the wife, you have to be available to serve your husband, especially when it comes to food and your responsibilities. Food being one of them, of course. Just wanted to record this, and so you guys can see, for those who are not married, so that you know what to expect. Every relationship is different, like I've said in almost every single vlog. But this is very important to understand the dynamic that you have with your spouse, and also the seriousness when you, as the head of the house, that everything is fun and games, and you enjoy one another and everything. But when it comes to your duties, when it comes to your own duties as the man and the duties of your spouse, of your wife, that your influence is not cut because of everything else. So it's really staying firm in those things. And my wife is awesome. She loves to serve me, and I know it. That's why she sometimes like panics, and she's so cute because sometimes she cooks and she's anxious to see if I'm gonna like it or not, and she has a serving heart as it is. So just wanted to record this and see how what she comes up with by the time I get home. So let's see what she put together. Ooh, it smells good. What you cooking?
Sandwich. Man. We have a nice dinner tonight, so that's why I'm not actually cooking. For a couple hours.
Hey,
Ma.
it works.
Ma.
After I stopped the recording, she said, without complaining. And that is very true. It's the heart that you do it with, not out of having to, but wanting to do it. That's the key. If you find yourself having to do things, and not wanting to do things, it won't last long, and you're going to be bitter doing these things. So.
True fact.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode. I hope you liked that little clip that we just did. We want to piggyback off of the video that I started recording yesterday. It was spontaneous, so I want to trickle on and talk a little bit more on that. And then that's the serving and how we're supposed to serve one another, but there's obviously a way of service for me to my wife and my wife to me, depending, like putting together the roles that each of one have, but also ultimately becoming a team, but still understanding what our roles are, which we have another episode that we did prior of the roles of a husband and a wife. So this is going to go a little bit more in depth when it comes to the service part, like serving one another and in what ways. This particular case with the video, like I told my wife to make me, a lunch. We had just gotten back from church, and I was getting hungry already. And I told her, I'm going to go get some business done, and if you can, please, kindly, obviously not demanding, I asked her if she could, have something ready for me so that when I come back, I can eat. I was already hungry. In this case, obviously, and what she does continuously, it's not, she always, makes moves, even if she's, running late or she tries to make it happen. And I feel and you can correct me if I'm wrong, babe, I feel the reason why she does that is because, number one, she loves me. Number two, she understands her responsibility in, making sure that there's food ready for us to eat. She understands that that's part of her role. But also she does it from a loving heart. I know that she finds joy in serving me. And for me, that's awesome. It also motivates me to enhance in the areas where I need to serve her, whether it be in complimenting her, whether it be in, helping her get something or something minimal. I think it's great. Now, towards the end of the clip, my wife says, doing it without complaining, and I want her to touch a little bit on that.
I mean, I think that primarily, it all begins from what's the revelation that you have as a spouse. Whether me speaking as a wife. I don't think that anyone should go into a marriage without understanding or grasping the revelation of what it is to be a wife. The Bible speaks a lot about the wife and her being the one that builds the home. Where the word says that for the wives to submit to the husbands as the husband submits to the Lord, there is a
Hierarchy.
A hierarchy. No, it's like a tree. Like there's the highest authority in our marriage is Jesus. Our Heavenly Father. Then it comes my husband Ivan, and then me. Like there's order. When you receive a revelation, how do you receive it? Read the Word. Read the Word of God. There's preachings out there from great ministers that talk about marriage and talk about the roles of the husband and the wife. And I think that something that I really learned, especially from my spiritual mom, was about the roles of the wife. I think that if you truly love your spouse or that person that you're going to marry, you're going to do things out of love. There's not going to be a moment. Yes, at the end of the day, we're humans. But at the end of the day, you love them as well. So it's like, which one is stronger?
Yeah.
Which one is gonna hold the strongest? Like, which one's gonna react the strongest? Is it the love that you have for this person, or is it your laziness, a burden, your whining? Which one weighs more on you? For me, at least in the time that we've been married, I've always, even before getting married, I've always noticed that, like, I was like, man, I can't wait till I get married because I know how I am going to be with my husband. Because I think that by me doing my role is such a beautiful thing. Not only beautiful, but it also avoids fights. It avoids the conflicts, confusion. But why you do this? Why didn't you do this? But I was expecting for you to do this. Or no, I don't have to. You can do it yourself. And honestly, there is a balance. Okay, don't get me wrong. There's times. The majority of the times, I do not have to pick up after Ivan, thank God. And that's also depends on the personality of the guy, how they were raised. If they were raised to be a messy person or a clean person, thank God Ivan is a clean person. But those are things that, you have to pray about. If you don't like the person being a certain way, like let's say if he's super messy, like pray about it. There's a difference in every relationship, but the foundation on how God created things is that the wife is submitted to the husband and the wife has roles. The wife is the one that builds a home. What does that mean? You keep your house clean. You may have food at home. You have food in the fridge. You have things organized at home. I mean, there's certain roles in a house that are manly. Obviously, that's for the man to take care of, like cutting the grass and whatever.
Yeah, that's why in marriage, I think, is obviously very important for people to understand from the beginning their roles and that they commit to that same role as they're committing to one another. I like to go by the Bible because I like to think of the Bible like a manual. Like same thing with marriage. If you don't do it by the book, it could be that in the future it collapses because you didn't use the instructions, you didn't use the proper tools necessary to make that strong enough to sustain the test of time. So by the same token, when you do go by the book, you will have a more of a chance to have it be fruitful and serve its purpose. We try to stick as close as possible to the book as possible, to the manual, because we don't have all the answers. But we know where to get those answers, and that is the Bible. But I think it really comes down to each one of us putting the effort and not belittling one another and forcing the other to do something. I'm a big fan of exceeding her expectations in my role that will make her exceed her expectations in her role. So me doing so good in the things that I know that I should be doing as a husband, that will motivate her and kind of like put it in her to want to kind of double up on me in a way, like that good competition, you know, that good competition of like, you know, God, like we can always give to God, you know, we give our offerings, our tithes, our offerings, but we can never outgive him. And it's kind of like that good dynamic when you have that with your spouse, where you're giving to one another, whether it be time, whether it be, you know, physical things or whatever, but you're constantly giving, and it's at the end of the day, it's beautiful when you have.
Don't get me wrong. Believe me, there's times that I don't feel like cooking. I don't feel like cleaning. I don't feel like doing anything for anyone. You get me? Like, it's normal. It's fine. You get me? But those are the moments where you have to really push yourself. You get me? It's the same thing when you're placed in a situation where you're tempted to something. You know, what are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna run away from it, or are you gonna like feed it? You know, these are the moments where, you know, your position as a wife really gets tested.
And then when it comes to, at the end of the day, just to wrap it all up and condense it, if you were to keep something, is that whenever you don't feel like doing something, whether you be the husband, the wife, you just have to make sure that the love that you have for that person outweighs the circumstance, the having to cook, the you know, having to clean, the having to iron, the having to this, the other. And that's what's going to really push you through to get things done. If you dwell on that very thing that you have to get done versus the reason why you're going to get things done, then it becomes harder for you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's a mindset. Like anything else is a mindset. You train yourself, you build that muscle, and then you succeed forward. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully you got some value out of this. If you did, let us know the feedback that you got. Like, give us some feedback. We want to know if this topic is useful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below, or go into our Instagram and DM us. You know,
give it a like.
Give it a like.
A thumbs up.
Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Share it with someone that you feel might be benefited by this message, and don't hold out on people, man. We're giving of ourselves, of our time, because we want to be able to share the things that God has deposited in us through other people, through our spiritual parents, through our mentors, and we want to bring it all through one channel, and this is all for you guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Love you
God
guys.
bless you. We love you. See you in the next week.